Hey YouTube, Patricia here, All Bodies Fitness. I love working on my Bozu. I find it so much fun. But you don't have to work crazy in order to get fit. Just do some of these exercises with me and watch this podcast right now that's about weight loss. There's a lot of things you may not know that are really surprising. You'll love this podcast, so watch it and then follow along with the videos afterwards of some exercises with things like Bozus or just floor exercises. And I'll be glad to work with you. Thank you so much. Enjoy this.
All right. Hey, here we
Welcome
are.
back.
Podcast number 21.
I know, right? Isn't it amazing?
Yep.
Yeah, we promised them a great episode this week about diet strategies for weight loss, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
And
there's so much to say about it.
I know there is, really. I mean, first of all, though, I guess the first thing that should be said is that we want to disclaim any knowledge without, knowing.
We're not doctors.
Yeah, we're not doctors. So, I mean, this is basically all our own opinion and our from our experiences, the things that we've researched on our own, and
things we've tried, things we've seen our friends and clients try.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you go out here and do some of this and you have success, let us know.
That's right. Sure. Yeah,
if
definitely.
you
don't tell us. No.
Don't blame us. Right. So you can't blame us for that. But I do know one thing's for sure, and that is just as I got off the scale this morning, I know that I've lost 32 pounds in a little over a year. So.
That's excellent, isn't it? Wow. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. That requires a high five for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super. So,
I feel like I know a little something about something.
That's right. And, I've lost about 12, 13 pounds, whatever it is, in a little over, since April, May, June, July, so a little over 3 months, something like that. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
I know you've been really fighting and struggling and really pressing your nose to the grindstone, and you've set a goal and you want to get back down to that weight that you were when you and I first met, because I think you blame me for all the weight that you've gained since we've been together. And I'm just so looking forward for you to be able to be back there to that weight, because then, then I can just sigh of relief, say it's not my fault anymore.
I have kind of blamed you, haven't I? I'm sorry. But I do take full responsibility. I make choices, but I'm easily led at times. It's easy to be led astray by food, right?
Well, I do. I've had a weakness. I like to eat. I like to eat out.
Most people do.
I like different flavors of food, and I've actually changed my diet a lot. So I couldn't have had the results I've had if I hadn't taken some of your advice. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to help people to see what it is that they can do to get some of the kind of good results we've had and experienced.
Be healthy.
You've got a lot to say about that.
Oh, so that's the thing. This could be like several
two-part
episodes,
thing, right? Oh, you want to go 3 of it? It's going to be there's 1, it's going to be 2, now it's going to be 3 episodes.
No.
Wow.
Let's just see what we get done today.
Right.
As far as, but first of all, we should just say that we realize everybody's an individual. What works for one person may not work for the other. I've seen that myself. With different people, everybody's a little different, and also it's your journey, right?
Yeah.
It's like I like to make the analogy that if I wanted to go, we're in Virginia, right? If I want to go from Virginia to California, there's a lot of ways we get there.
Plane.
We could take a plane and go really fast. We could take a train. We could drive.
Automobiles.
We've done that. Yeah.
I've done it in 3 days.
We could take a horse, I guess. If we there's a lot of ways you can go. You can walk, but that'll take you a really long time. But you could drive a bicycle, I've heard too.
You could Forrest Gump it.
Yeah, Forrest Gump it, run it, right? So there's a lot of ways you get there. It depends on how long you want to take, on your journey, and how many times you want to go off track a little bit.
Yeah.
If you want to go off track sometimes.
So what you're saying is that depending on what kind of results you want and how fast do you want to get them is going to determine what type of strategy you choose to get to wherever you're.
Yeah, and what you could sustain too, because some people can't fly in a plane; they're afraid, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's impossible. The idea of that for some people.
Yeah.
Right. So it all depends. Like I said, everybody's different. But
so I guess that's the first question. What do you want? What do you want to achieve?
We've talked about that a lot, right? That
Right.
you have in your vision and your goal clearly defined really helps.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, like for me, I've reached the goal that I had set for myself. I mean, not too long ago, I said I was going to lose 10 pounds, and yeah, I've lost that, and the
I
other
think more
22.
actually.
And, yeah, but I've lost, a total of like 32 pounds altogether. But the thing is, though, is that even where I'm at right now, I look in the mirror and I still see these little love handle things on the side, a little bit there, and I just want muscle to show through.
Yeah, you want to have the cut tone. You're going to keep working on it, right? You're
So
great.
now I feel like I got to reset my goals. I look at what am I, but
That's important though. Every time you reach a goal, you should have another one waiting, because otherwise you're going to lose momentum, because that's important to have that momentum. But one thing we should do, Patrick, is define what, how you lose a pound. What is a pound, right? How do you lose 1 pound?
How do you lose 1 pound?
Or what is 1 pound?
Is that the 3,500 calories?
Yeah, bingo. Yeah. A pound of fat is 3,500 calories.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So one simple strategy, which may or may not work for people, is to say, okay, we got 7 days. 7 divided by 3,500 is 500. So if we have 500 less calories a day, we should lose a pound a week in 7 days.
Well, and there I must interject, because I've been watching this documentary and I haven't seen the whole thing yet, or I have before, and I'm just rewatching it. So I'm like, oh wow, it's called Fed Up. It's on Netflix. You can probably check it out.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good. Yeah, and it talks about obesity, and it talks about calories, and it talks about how not all calories are counted the same. So
exactly,
you might have 160 calories of something that's very fibrous, right? And it'll go through your system in a different way than 160 calories from a Coke or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the Coke going into your system.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. But sugar, with that much sugar, it's just as addicting as anything that could be.
It's more addicting than
cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that in itself can actually produce even more fat, even though you've only consumed. You can say, oh, I just consumed 160 calories, but actually you just made it so that your body's gotten my understanding, it's gotten a rush, and then through the liver in the process there, it actually can't handle all that sugar, so then it creates fat.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's what I understood from it too. Is that simple sugars. There's different kinds of sugars too.
Just now you got to work that fat off that you just created, even though you only ate like 160 calories, drank 160 calories worth, right?
Isn't that crazy?
It's weird,
I know. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Every calorie isn't the same.
Dynamics of it all.
Yeah. Every calorie is not equal. And if you look at the macronutrients, it's called. There's 3 macronutrients, right? There's fat. There's carbohydrates. There's kitty cats going wild over it. Yeah. And there's protein, right? And a gram of fat is 9 kilocalories, or 9 calories per gram. But a gram of protein or carbohydrates is only 4. So that's a big difference right there. So sugar is its own kind of beast in a way, because the simple sugars, like in table sugar and all the added sugars they add in processed foods and drinks like that. We don't want to say particular names possibly, but all those added sugars are very simple sugars, and it does overload the liver and insulin and that kind of thing. And then it goes to fat, and but also blocks your brain from telling you it's full too. Unlike if you eat, you said 160 calories in a drink or something. If you eat 160 calories of, say, broccoli.
That was just an example.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. I haven't had a soda in years.
Yeah.
But
every time I go to the movie theater, it's like, oh man, that Coke looks good.
That's because they have those commercials. They're trying to brainwash you.
Popcorn.
I know, it's awful. But yeah, 160 calories of a simple thing like a soda is processed way differently than 160 calories of something that has fiber and real food like broccoli or lettuce or salad. Things that are natural foods, has a lot of fiber in it, and it fills the stomach. And then you are full, and then you're not going to want the extra other things, hopefully, because you're full. So that's a totally different beast right there. Is that not all calories are the same, right?
So do you want to go back to the beginning of how all this problem just started for us?
Yeah, I took some notes from that movie Fed Up. So forgive me if it's not 100% accurate. Watch it yourself and double check me and let me know if I made a mistake.
Fact check. Not fat check. Fact check. Well, you could fact check it.
That's right. But the Montgomery Report is where all this kind of started, I guess, in 1977. The Montgomery Report was the first dietary goals for Americans, where it was first defined. Right? Because they noticed that there was a problem.
77, huh?
1977.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a little kid, right? You were too. So they noted that in this report that Americans were consuming way too much sugar, cholesterol, saturated fat, high-fat foods, and they actually said that obesity would be the #1 form of malnutrition in the future if we continue on this path.
Ding.
Yeah, it happened, right? So, so they suggested a cut back on all these things, cut back in fatty meats, cut back in cholesterol, like eggs and that kind of thing, cut back in sugars, like, sweets and.
But is that what the government ended up doing?
No, because then, we have to realize that it's not an evil plot or whatever, it's business, right?
Yeah, it is.
So the egg, the sugar, the dairy, the beef association all united and said, we got to fight this because we don't want to lose our customers, right? So so they all worked together. So actually what happened in the 1980s, and I remember this kind of happening, where all of a sudden we had all these processed foods marketed that said low fat, you know what I mean? And you know what they did is, in order to remove the fat, they added a bunch of sugar in.
Right.
Yeah. And sugar is actually 8 times more addictive than cocaine.
And it creates more fat.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
right?
I don't think there's usually a fat cocaine addict. I don't know. I don't know any.
Well,
but I've heard.
I don't either,
right? Because usually they're so wired, they're probably not sitting there eating all the time.
No, but I was just thinking as far as the processing of that sugar through your system creates more fat.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that that's what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's addicting in the sense that it's flavorful. I mean, shoot. I mean, I know.
You do want more.
I like sugar.
Yeah.
I want some sugar.
Well, yeah, it's addictive. I put my pinky in your teeth.
But I know also that it's not good for me. So I've been staying off of that. But hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean it's an addictive thing. I mean that's why
so
they added
the sugar.
Yeah. So I guess what happened, it said from 1977 to 2000, year 2000, Americans doubled their sugar consumption.
Wow.
Isn't that powerful?
Well, they started that. I wonder why. I mean, they started adding it to all the products.
Yeah,
right?
To take out the fat, to fool us into thinking, oh, this is healthy food now.
But then now it's really creating more of a problem.
Yeah,
with all the sugar, right?
Yeah, it's more of a problem. So, sugar, like I said, is 8 times more addictive. And then when it happened in 2002, this was interesting too. The World Health Organization, the WHO, right, had this document called TRS 916.
Those Grinches.
Yeah. It was the Diet, Nutrition, and Prevention of Chronic Disease, right? And this is 2002, so around the same time. They said that sugar, now that it was so doubled in the American population, is a major cause, if not the cause, of all chronic metabolic diseases and obesity. Which, that was news to me because this was like, wow, I knew there was a big problem and I thought it was the fatty foods too, and I knew sugar was a bit of an element, but I did not know this, right? Yeah. So they said that only 10% of your calories should come from sugar, cut it way back, right? And when they wanted to release this to the public, ding, 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 industry went crazy again, right? Yeah. Like, no, I'm not going to have that, right? So they convinced the Bush administration, which I don't know which Bush was in office in 2002, probably the first one, right? But anyway, Tommy Thompson.
That was right after the 9/11, 2001.
Oh, so it was Bush Jr. Okay, yeah. So Tommy Thompson, they said, was the senator that worked on this, and they went with the sugar industry, the lobbyists and such, to go to the World Health Organization and say, hey, you know what? If you release this document the way you have it, we're not going to join this year, and that's $406 million that you're going to miss out on.
Ooh.
That's a big chunk of change.
Yeah, that changed a lot of lives, $406 million.
Yeah, exactly. So they said, okay, we're going to change it to, okay, we'll say that America should not consume more than 25% of their calories from sugar. Wow. So that's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So now they're just saying, okay, we'll just try, we'll just try and, appease them and let people be sick, but maybe they won't be as sick, Yeah. So that was a failure on our parts to save lives again, right? Okay, so the reason that all happened is like I said, the sugar industry is very powerful. And if you notice, and this is something that the movie pointed out, and then I went and grabbed some nutrition labels because I was like, oh, really? And I look at nutrition labels a lot, being a personal trainer and such. Mm-hmm. But labels sugars are the only things in the labels that do not have a percentage on it. Because usually, like if you look at fiber, or say this one has 5 grams of fiber, which is X percent of your daily recommended allowance. Yeah. Sugar is the only thing that does not have a percentage.
Uh-oh.
Isn't that interesting?
How about that?
Yeah, so now start checking those labels for the added sugar.
It just says sugars in there.
Yeah, it just says how many sugars.
Yeah.
So now I'm really being careful. I mean, we try and eat whole foods anyway, but the few things that we do buy, like I do like cheat and buy like tomato sauce, for pasta sometimes and that kind of thing, so I don't have to make my own, save time. But I noticed looking at the pasta sauce I used to buy, it had added sugars, and I'm like, okay, not gonna buy that one anymore. So it was amazing to me, very eye-opening, So yeah.
So there's a great strategy to start eating healthier and have probably some good results just from cutting out things that have sugar in it.
Yeah. So let's come back to that after we take a really quick break.
Okay, let's do that.
Thanks.
All right, we're back. We're back.
All right, so as we were saying, those added sugars, those added sugars are really bad if you're trying to lose weight, and that's a big cause to the obesity problem. So, and the diabetes problem. Now, one thing I do want to say as a personal trainer and certified nutritional consultant, in my opinion, I would recommend that you still eat some fruits because fruits are of a different sugar, right? Mm-hmm. Fruits have fructose.
Yeah, see, I know we've had this discussion quite a few times, and it's because it's been said to me, probably by some professor in somewhere, I don't know, the class I took, but something about some fruits produce bad sugar, though. Is that true or not?
Some fruits
produce bad sugar.
I don't know what that would mean exactly. I think they all are fructose.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, it's a natural thing. I mean, maybe.
If any of you know out there.
Maybe you wouldn't want to have more than 5 servings of sugar. I mean, of fruit a day. But I've known people that have done fruit fasts and they're okay too. Now you can't get all your nutrients from just fruit. Mm-hmm. But it has all the vitamins in there that that we need, right? That a lot of times that we need has a lot of vitamins and minerals, and it has phytochemicals that they don't even know what they are. They haven't even defined them all. Okay. So it's a plant. I think it's a good thing. But obviously, some people may disagree with me, and it's just my opinion. But we do know that the empty calories of sugar, like you said, in drinks and things like that, and all the added sugars, we have to start being a little wary of.
Right.
And now I guess the sugar industry is going to come after us.
Well, okay.
But anyway, so that was one of my points, right? And the other thing is what we mentioned briefly before about fiber, right? You know about this, right? That fiber fills the stomach a lot more, right? Mm-hmm. And actually, the FDA, the little bit of recommendations that I agree with them, is that it says that fiber is a nutrient of concern because Americans are very deficient in fiber.
So let's repeat that, because when we talk about things that are concerning, it's usually, whoop, we got to stop doing that. No, this is concerning because we're not getting enough of it.
Yeah, really, right? So they actually did come out and say that the average, they call it the standard American diet, which they call SAD.
Yeah.
Okay? People usually get 10 to 12 to 15 grams of fiber, if that, a day. Mm-hmm. And the recommended dosage is about, well, it depends. I've read different things. I like to say shoot for 30, but it depends on what you read. I've seen 35 for men and like 20 for women. And then I've seen somebody saying that, people used to get about 100 grams of fiber when they were, so I mean, it's all different.
And I got to say that this is one of the basic strategies that we share with people to get them started on the path to a healthier lifestyle, because first of all, I know it works because mm-hmm. it's what basically was used to help me get on a better path, mm-hmm. was just being aware that we should add more fiber to our diet. Mm-hmm. So if you just start from that, as your foundation in a sense, mm-hmm. adding more fiber,
yeah,
you're already ahead of the game.
Yeah, because I mean, we have an ebook.
It's good for your system.
It's good for you in so many ways, fiber. I mean, we have an ebook that explains it. It's a short, I think, a 9-page ebook. Right. So if you want a copy of that, just send us an email
at info@allbodiesfitness.com.
Yeah, we'll be glad to let you know how you get that easily. But yeah, I mean, fiber, like you said, is very good for you. It fills you because fiber, it provides bulk in food and makes you think that you're full because your stomach has, and I'm not a biologist, but your stomach, say it was a big round vase or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have 150 calories, like we were saying, of a sugary drink or something, it's only going to fill a very, very tiny, small speck on the bottom of that stomach, right? A little sliver is
Mm-hmm.
going to be full. But if you have 150 calories or 160 calories, of course, of like a fibrous food like broccoli or spinach or whatever, even potatoes, you know, it's going to fill a lot more.
Right.
And the sensors in your stomach is actually going to sense when it's full, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're having fibrous foods, it hits those sensors and says you're full. And I've seen that myself. If I eat a nice high fiber meal, it's so much easier to pass up the junk food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because your stomach is satisfied, you feel good, and you're like, oh, I'm not hungry, so I can pass it up.
Right.
But I know, if I did have and did indulge in that sugar, cake or whatever, that I'm going to want to eat more and more of it because it is very addictive.
Right.
So it's a slippery slope sometimes to go down.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have to live, so you have to figure out what strategy works for you.
Right.
I don't know what movie it was or where I read this, but it was a really interesting thing, and I totally can relate to it. Maybe a lot of our audience can too. Is that a woman said that she would buy a chocolate cake, eat a piece of it or whatever, and then throw it in the garbage, but then get it out of the garbage because it was so addictive. That the only way she could stop herself from not going back to get it, because you'd go in the garbage and pick around, not get anything that was touching anything and still eat some. The only way to avoid that is to throw it in the garbage and spray it with Windex, and then she would eat it.
Wow.
I mean, that's how powerful the sugar addiction is, and I totally can relate to that. You know what I mean? So it's not easy to lose weight sometimes.
So one of the things I think we're saying here is that we wouldn't recommend as a diet strategy to go out and just start buying low fat or reduced fat products.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those products may be reduced in or low fat or but they have added sugars and things like that, which actually make the problem compound the problem that you're trying to deal with.
It's like
even though
trick.
making in your mind think that you're
So
I'm taking in less fat, blah blah blah, whatever. I'm reducing my calorie intake, but what is it that's in those calories, and what is it that's in that product that is actually affecting your system?
Yeah, because I mean, we didn't have processed foods until when did they start? I don't know when the first TV dinners of all these processed foods are. But now, I mean, if you go to the supermarket, you stay away from the whole middle of the supermarket, and you just go in the produce aisle, and maybe the bakery and blah blah. That's where I go.
Yeah.
You don't need to go in that middle hardly at all. You know what I mean? Because all those processed foods have added things. I mean, there's very few. I mean, there are some obviously you can have. You have to have some cans possibly, that kind of thing, and oatmeal's in there and that kind of thing. So I'll go for that. But so many things have so many added sugars and different things. There's a rule of 5 I've heard where if it has more than 5 ingredients, don't buy it. That's one good rule of thumb.
Okay.
But reading these labels is hard, because they try and make it tricky because they'll change the size of the portion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, this only has 160 calories. Yeah, for 2 of that bag of chips or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll change it to make it seem like it's better than it is, put it in a light that's most favorable to them that will trick you into thinking it's okay, So if you cook your own meals, I mean, I think, if they look at the populations where people do the best, or just look at history, before we had all these processed foods, people cooked their meals, right? And, they cooked vegetables and they had salads and they had, a small amount maybe of meat if they needed to add to that, and they were healthier. They weren't obese, so it's the food.
Well, I mean, the studies that were done through the Forks Over Knives.
Yeah, that's a great
documentary too. And the Asian culture has, until we came in there from the Western culture and kind of threw in
changed their diet.
And all that, helped change their diets for worse, I guess. But,
totally.
They mainly ate starch-based diet with some vegetables and only a little bit of meat.
Yeah, for flavoring, that's it.
Which
no
is something.
Dairy.
Yeah. Right, no dairy.
Yeah.
Which is basically what we already covered here not too long ago with the World Health Organization recommendations for reducing the possibility of dementia was to you know to
Adapt the plant-based.
There,
Yeah.
thank you.
They call
That's the word I was looking for.
You're
To
welcome.
adopt.
Either way, I guess.
Whatever. A Mediterranean style diet, right?
Yeah, which
more
is
the plant-based.
Yeah, which is a very highly plant-based diet
Yeah.
with a little bit of meat, like
Mhm.
I said, like you said, for flavoring, and they do add a lot of oils, which I don't think is necessarily good. That's empty calories too. But you got to start somewhere what you can tolerate sometimes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, so that's isn't this all like really tricky? I mean, it's like
It is. It's very
it's so. I mean, I you know we're like on this journey right now where we're having these results and we're experiencing some good results from the strategy that we're using, and I mean we're losing about a pound a day right now.
Yeah,
So that's really
pretty
good.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so that's really good.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that like you said though, is that each person is an individual and they have different needs, and um, everybody needs to start from where they can.
Yeah, because even
Yeah.
small changes can
They
add
can
up.
sustain some type of
Yeah, because
strategy.
there's like I think I was talking about this with you earlier, like people that quit smoking, which everybody knows smoking is bad for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some people can quit cold turkey and just stop smoking and they're fine. Some people quit cold turkey and in a couple of days stress has happened and they go back to it and they stop and start a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can just wean themselves down a little bit at a time and then eventually stop. I mean, there's a lot of different paths to get there.
Right.
Everybody is unique, and I think even small changes to be aware that every time you open your mouth and put something in it, you're making a choice to go down the path that you think is good, or a path you may know is good, or a path you know is bad. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
obviously, if you
Good
eat
point.
a donut, you know that's not the way you want to
Right.
go. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time you open your mouth, it's a choice, and and you're voting for the health you want, and
And the longer that you stay away from it, and then when the thought or the desire or the temptation comes along to do it, you can actually take more of a step back and really formulate a good response to that, and like, okay, do I really think through it before you consume that, right?
Yeah, or like some people that I know, they'll put it in their diet strategy that every 2 weeks they're gonna have one cheat meal because they're on a really healthy diet.
That's something to look forward to.
That's right.
I like
Well, I
that.
feel your muscles there, buddy. Yeah, I think there is a lot of different strategies that works for them, because some people may be able to do that and they're fine, but other people, they may have that one cheat meal and then fall down a slippery slope for
Right.
fall off the wagon for weeks or something. You know what I mean? So it really depends on you. You have to try and keep trying and figure out what.
Well, and that's probably why it's taken me. I mean, I guess for some people, losing 32 pounds in a little over a year or whatever
It's great. Yeah.
is great. But some people may be like, well, that's not fast enough. I want to lose it faster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, depends on what strategy you pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could probably lose it faster by doing some other stuff, which I guess we'll talk about more on another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those other strategies that we've used. But
yeah.
unless you want to go into it now a little bit.
Well,
what else do you want to cover?
No, I think we want to talk next week about the fasting idea.
That was where I was going with that.
Yeah,
because that's
a whole other issue.
Yeah,
that's not eating. That's just not eating. But I think in general we have to eat.
When you learn to laugh at hunger,
then you've evolved. No, but I mean, you can eat the right foods and not be hungry. And like you said, if you stay away from the foods that you used to indulge in and are bad for you, like sweets or something like that, then it loses its draw a little bit, because you've had enough distance where you don't have that huge addiction.
You built up a momentum and going in a healthier direction, and then hey, if you have a slip or a fall, and you go backward some, hey, you can pick back up.
Yeah, exactly.
That much quicker.
But that's why I think a journal is so important. We've mentioned this before. A diet journal of some kind, people have so much more success if they write it down, because then they really have to commit to it, that I'm writing everything down and I don't want to have to look back and see what I did. You know what I mean?
I tell you, it really comes down to how badly do you want to change?
Exactly. Yeah. How
badly do you want to feel better in your body, in your mind, in
in your clothes?
Yeah, in your clothes. I mean, how badly do you want that? I mean, if you're okay with the way you are, and you've convinced yourself that this is as good as it gets, and this is who I am, and I have no desire to change, then there's no reason to even.
Well, that's the whole thing. What's the impetus to change for you if you're noticing that you're sick? I've had clients call me because all of a sudden their doctors say, hey, if you don't lose 20 or 30 pounds, we're going to recommend you for bariatric surgery, or we're going to put you on more medication, things of that nature. Then they might feel the pain more and say, oh, I need to change now.
What's funny is I remember a lot of times when we've talked about those couple of different topics you just mentioned, is that I always find it funny how you frame it, because some people don't consider that as a drastic a move.
Yeah, exactly.
As making these drastic changes in their diet,
yeah,
or the things that they'll eat. They would prefer to be on medication and go through surgery, than take some, like, that's not drastic.
I know, right?
But change my diet is pretty drastic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be a really drastic change in my life. But
I know, that's amazing to me. But everybody's different, like we said, and it's all individual choices. We can't choose for you or anybody. I know myself is I don't want to be on any medication. I don't want to have any surgeries. I don't even want to see a doctor, right? But and I don't. I mean, I'm not on any medication. I feel really good. If I break my arm, I want to see a doctor. You know what I mean? I don't want to see a doctor because my cholesterol is high, which is not, or my blood pressure is real high, or I'm having.
We could probably Google it and figure out how to set it.
That's true, right?
We could probably figure
it out. We
probably
could, but I think I might want to have somebody a little bit more learned.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an excellent handyman.
Yeah.
I must say, he really is. Yeah. But I don't know if I want him to set my bones.
Yeah, I'm not sure that. I
might have a little bit of a crookedness into it. But you know what? With our diet, we're not going to have as much of a tendency to break those bones because our bone density is better. Also because we exercise.
I can tell you, nothing that we're sharing here would lead you down a path that either we haven't already experienced ourselves, or that we haven't been looking at. But like we said, we throw out all our disclaimers and say you should consult a physician. We're not a doctor, but we do know that
but I do know that not all doctors
something
know
better
it.
Than huh?
I do know that not all doctors are going to be your best friend.
Wow, sure. There was what was it? Is in that Fed Up documentary they were talking about this group of doctors that went with they partnered with Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful doctors out there, so don't get me wrong.
Doctors are great.
But on the other hand, I know that me being a personal trainer with the certified nutritional consultant and having 100 hours of nutrition schooling is much more schooling on nutrition than any doctor has if they don't take extra courses. Because standard medical school maybe has one course on nutrition. Most of them don't have any. And that was the last I read about it, because that's not important. What is funded and what they do know is how to prescribe medication, and all medication, and let me repeat that, all medication have side effects because it's not a natural thing, right? And I don't want to have any side effects, so I'm not going to take any medication if I could avoid it. I want food to be my medicine. I want exercise to be my medicine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I want my mindset. Are 3 keys, right?
Right.
And I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to admit it. I mess up, but overall, I'm pretty healthy. Knock on composite plastic.
Well,
we got a chair.
Yeah,
that's wood, right? So you have to choose what's right for you, and like you said, not everybody thinks that's drastic to get bariatric surgery, but but for me, that's not something.
Can we go back to the cheat days? What about the cheat days? What was it?
I think he still has a sugar addiction.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, I do like to
Well, I know, but you know,
Try
it's
different things.
but the thing that people don't often realize is that there's two issues that I learned over, course of time, not too long ago, is that one, changing your diet sounds hard, but it takes a couple months to get used to, and then
Mhm.
it's all habit, and then you start really liking the food that you eat.
It's the
Maybe
same thing
less
with
than
working
sometimes.
out too. I mean, we've gotten to the point now. I mean, pretty regularly, at least over the last couple months, has it been almost
Yeah.
that we're working out every day almost
Yeah, taking like one day off a week to rest.
1 day a week.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
And that's a habit too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're doing this for ourselves, of course, but also because we want to show you
Yeah.
people who listen to this and people that are going to be listening to this, people we are helping and people we are going to help.
Mm-hmm.
That hey,
It's
we
possible.
struggled,
Yeah.
but we found a way, and
Oh, yeah,
we want to
totally.
help you find a way.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a way, and it is a struggle. You have to stay focused. You have to stay true.
It is a real struggle sometimes.
But there's not always, though. There's
Sometimes
times
you're
where
gonna
it's
wonder,
easy.
is this even worth it?
No, it is worth it. I believe it's worth it.
I'm just saying.
I mean, that's where the thing is. If it's painful enough to stay the same, if it's painful enough that you're going to change, then you have to keep reminding yourself of that pain while you're changing, so that you stay the course. You know what I mean? Because it is work. It's real easy to run to a fast food joint and pick out. I mean, I haven't done it in a long time, but I know it's really easy to do, and they're all over the place. But I choose to cook my food. Right now, it's all I'm doing is I'm cooking my food every day. We're cooking and we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying the food. It's not like we don't enjoy it, but you have that memory. I haven't had a fast food burger in years, but I remember it tastes good. I still remember that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So there's always going to be, maybe it's like any addiction, maybe there's always some element of addiction there. And maybe
it's like, in your mind you're going, well, if it tastes so good, how could it be so bad?
And I totally forgot the other thing that I was going to say, because we got off track. But because I said I know two things, and I don't know. Oh, that dieting, you get used to the food. If you change your food, you will get used to it. You will like it.
Yeah.
You may say, I hate vegetables, but start eating them. It may take you a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple months. I don't know, but you'll start liking them. It's just, just like I'm drinking black tea here instead of coffee right now, because I can drink black tea with nothing in it.
Yeah, a month ago you said that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love it. I like it okay now, but I didn't love it. I love coffee with the creamers in there, with the sugar in there. But I took that away, and now I'm drinking a black tea, and I'm still like, I miss the coffee a little bit, but I'm starting to like the tea. So you will change, you will start liking it. Yeah. So I know that to be a truth, that it's it's hard, but not. And oh yeah, I remember the other thing now. The other thing is that hunger and cravings are temporary conditions. You can bypass them. You just don't have to give in that one moment, right? You just bypass them that one moment. I'm going to be strong right now. Don't worry about tomorrow or next week if you're going to fail. Right now, be strong. Eat the healthier food, and it will pass.
Yeah,
right?
That's good. Yeah, build a strong mindset and have a good why for
strong why you're doing this.
Your reason for doing this,
Yeah.
And
and this too shall pass.
Action.
This too shall pass.
Well, it does. It does.
Yeah,
we're all struggling. We'd love to hear more about what you guys are doing.